the silent sky before the storm. The galaxy was quiet that night, too quiet. No wars, no border skirmishes, no pirate raids, just the endless hum of stars burning softly in the black. Then, without warning, a signal appeared. It came from the edge of the Perseus Arm, near a sector long abandoned and sealed by the Galactic Council. The signal was weak, distorted, ancient. At first, the scanners ignored it. Cosmic background noise, maybe an echo from a dead probe. But as the pattern repeated, every listening station began to pick it up. The same voice, the same words, whispered through time and static. This is New Horizon. Colony 17. Request immediate assistance. Coordinates. The message cut off, then repeated. Over and over, 200 years had passed since anyone had spoken the name New Horizon. In the halls of the Galactic Council, diplomats and admirals gathered in silence. The banner of every major species fluttered behind them, cold, metallic symbols of power and pride. Councillor Vareth of the Eltari broke the silence first. "Humans," he hissed, his long fingers tapping the table. "They vanished centuries ago. Their worlds burned, their fleets scattered. They cannot still exist, but the evidence was there, a human distress call, pulsing across subspace with perfect precision. It was not a ghost. It was real." The Council's analysts ran the data again. The coordinates were unmistakable. The human colony world New Horizon, lost during the fall of Sol. No ship had returned from that region since. A murmur filled the chamber. Some called it an opportunity, others a trap. General Corrin of the Utal Defense Fleet leaned forward. "If there is even one surviving human settlement, it must be contained. You remember what they did during the last war. They burned entire fleets. They erased worlds." The sorry diplomat beside him nodded slowly. "But they also saved half the galaxy from the Arkan Scourge. We owe them much." The debate grew heated. For every voice calling for caution, another called for conquest. After all, the humans had once been feared, clever, unpredictable, and dangerously adaptable. But they had also been broken, hunted nearly to extinction. So how could there still be a signal? On a far-off moon, inside a private observatory, a small group of alien scientists huddled around a glowing, holographic display. They had decoded a portion of the human message and found something strange. Hidden beneath the distress call was another layer of code. It pulsed at intervals that matched no known galactic pattern. It was subtle, almost invisible, like a heartbeat. Dr. Sen, the lead researcher, whispered, "This isn't just a signal. It's alive," her assistant frowned. "Alive?" "Yes, the code is adaptive. It changes every time we scan it, as if it knows we're watching." They tried to trace the signal back to its source, but every attempt failed. Their systems glitched, sensors overloaded, and the data corrupted itself before saving. Then their station lights flickered. Once, twice, and went out. When they came back on, the computers displayed one new message: "We are not asking for help." Word spread fast. Across the stars, curiosity turned into fear. Fleets mobilized. Probes were launched toward the coordinates of New Horizon. At first, everything seemed normal. A few drones returned with static-filled images of a shattered world. Frozen seas, broken towers. No signs of life. But one probe, the Argos 9, transmitted something different. Its onboard cameras captured the surface of New Horizon just as a massive storm rolled across the planet. Through the clouds, faint lights glowed, not fires, not cities, but geometric patterns burning deep beneath the ice. Then the signal cut. The last image before the transmission ended was a shadow, tall, unmistakably humanoid, standing at the heart of the storm. Back at the Galactic Council, panic began to grow. "Shut down all probes," ordered Admiral Corrin. "No more contact until we understand what we're dealing with." But it was too late. Civilian explorers, smugglers, even private media ships had already launched toward the mysterious human world, desperate for glory, for proof, for fame. Every one of them vanished, no wreckage, no escape pods, not even debris, just silence. Weeks later, a single unmanned drone drifted back into known space. Its hull was scarred but intact. The Council's engineers pulled its memory core and activated the final recording, static. Then a whisper. "Do not come here." The room fell silent. The message repeated, the voice calm, steady, human. "This world is under human protection. Leave this sector. You have been warned." The transmission ended with a blinding pulse that fried half the equipment in the chamber. The Council declared the region off-limits, quarantined by law. But rumors spread faster than any decree. Some said it was an automated system, a last defense left by a dead civilization. Others claimed the humans had evolved, no longer biological, but something else entirely. And a few whispered that the humans never truly died. They simply went silent, waiting for the galaxy to forget, waiting for the right moment to return. Far away at the edge of Soul space, a lone probe crosses the invisible line into human territory. For a moment, its sensors flicker. It records a flash, a colossal structure hidden within the void, wrapped in light and shadow, then silence. No signal, no trace. The probe is gone. The galaxy holds its breath. The silent sky before the storm had just begun to stir. For 200 years, the colony called New Horizon had been a ghost, a name whispered in history lectures and old war records. Now it was all anyone in the galaxy could talk about. The distress signal had changed everything. Every empire wanted answers and control. The Galactic Council finally gave its decision, a sanctioned expedition, small and cautious. No military ships, just science vessels and scouts. They would go, record everything and return. Simple, safe, at least. That was the plan. The lead ship was the Karoon's Hope, commanded by Captain Tyrell, an old veteran of the Rim Wars. He had fought alongside humans once, long ago, when their fleets were still respected, not forgotten. As the ship entered the dead sector, Tyrell felt something odd, a heaviness in the silence. The stars themselves seemed quieter. "Report," he ordered. His science officer flicked through readings. "Sir, we're picking up faint electromagnetic patterns. Not natural. It's like a power grid, but buried deep under the surface, on a dead world." Tyrell frowned. "How?" No one answered. The planet filled the viewport. New Horizon, half frozen, half scorched. The remains of a once-living world. Towering ruins pierced the snow, their jagged shapes silhouetted against the pale light of a dying sun. The scanners showed collapsed cities, broken reactors, and vast plains covered in glittering ice. The crew descended in a small shuttle. As the landing gear touched down, the snow beneath it cracked with a sound like glass breaking. Inside their helmets, the explorers' breath echoed. Every step crunched against the frozen ground. There was no wind, no movement, just silence. "Recording all visuals," said the officer, her camera panning across the ruins. Symbols of human design were still visible. Steel arches, reinforced domes, and faded flags marked with a blue earth insignia. Dr. Sen, the same scientist who had first analyzed the original signal, examined a nearby wall. This construction, it's human, yes, but advanced. More advanced than anything they built before the fall. She ran a hand along the surface. It felt warm. That shouldn't have been possible. Not in -70 degrees. The readings spiked. Power signatures flickered beneath their feet. "Captain," she whispered, "this structure isn't dead. It's sleeping." The ground trembled. The snow rippled outward from their landing site. The team stumbled, shouting over comms as sensors screamed warnings. One of the explorers looked down and froze. Lines of light began tracing themselves under the ice, spreading like veins of fire. They formed patterns, circles, grids, symbols, precise and deliberate. The light wasn't natural. It was language Dr. Sen recorded as fast as she could. "It's a signal matrix. It's rewriting itself. It's responding to us." Trell's voice cut in over comms. "Pull back now, back to the shuttle!" But the light didn't stop. It followed them. The explorers rushed into the shuttle. Engines roared to life, snow blasting outward as they lifted off. From above they could see it clearly now. massive glowing structures beneath the ice, arranged in perfect geometry. At the center of the largest pattern stood a tower, intact, untouched, its peak pulsing like a heartbeat. And then, through the static, the ship's comms came alive, a voice, human, calm. "You shouldn't have come." The transmission cut instantly. Every system on the shuttle went offline. Engines, thrusters, life support, all dead. They fell, tumbling through the frozen air, crashing hard into the snow below. Hours later, the Karoon's Hope received their final transmission, garbled, full of static. We are not alone." Repeating, "not alone." The structures are moving something. Watching. The signal ended abruptly. No rescue team made it back alive. Captain Terrell ordered the Karoon's Hope to retreat to orbit. But as they turned away from the planet, the crew saw something that made them stop. On the surface, through the storm, the frozen towers were moving, shifting, rising, aligning into a pattern visible from orbit. A massive symbol. The old insignia of the United Terran Republic, humanity's mark. The data reached the Galactic Council days later. Shock, denial, fear. "How can that be possible?" they asked. Humanity had fallen centuries ago. Their worlds had been ashes. Yet here was proof, not just of survival, but of power. A colony that had endured 200 years in silence, waiting, building something beneath the ice. The Council called for containment again. But half the galaxy had already heard the rumors. The humans were back. And whatever they had become, they were not the same species that had once begged for peace. Far from New Horizon, deep in the black between stars, a hidden array of satellites activated one by one. Old Terran designs. Running perfectly after centuries of silence, their purpose was simple: to listen, to watch, to wait. As they turned toward the galactic core, their transmission began to pulse in rhythm, a coded message no one could yet understand. Somewhere in the vast dark, something stirred in response. Humanity was listening. For months after the discovery of New Horizon, the galaxy trembled with rumors. Trade routes whispered of ghost ships, of machines that thought like gods, of humans reborn, but nothing could have prepared them for what came next. Because one morning, without warning or announcement, Earth, long thought destroyed, erased from all star charts, returned, not metaphorically, not symbolically, literally. Every galactic navigation array, every long-range sensor, every deep space observatory suddenly showed the same impossible result: Sol system detected. At first, no one believed it. For 2 centuries, Earth had been invisible, cloaked, hidden, or gone. But now, the coordinates matched perfectly. Even the orbital patterns of the old planets were identical. Admiral Corrin of the Utal Navy stared at the holographic map in disbelief. "This cannot be real." Sol was erased by gravitational collapse. "The records were human," interrupted Counselor Vareth coldly. "And humans lie." Across the galaxy, fleets launched to confirm the impossible. Recon probes, scout ships, even private vessels raced toward the Sol system. Every government wanted to see the homeworld of humanity again, and if possible, claim it, but none of them would reach it unscathed. The first probe to approach was Scout Vessel Aurelis. It transmitted images as it neared the outer system. Jupiter's storms, Saturn's rings, all as ancient records described. But there was something else. Between the orbits of Mars and Earth floated a thin band of energy, invisible to the eye, but bright as a star in every other wavelength. The crew called it the Veil. When the probe crossed it, the transmission spiked, then vanished. No explosion, no interference, just silence. The Galactic Council convened again in emergency session. "Earth is protected," said one of the scientists flatly. A field of unknown energy, dense enough to distort time and light itself. The hall filled with noise, panic, disbelief, speculation. Dr. Sen, who had survived the events of New Horizon, stood at the center and spoke quietly. "It's them," she said. "The humans. They did this. They hid their world. The council chamber went silent. How? someone whispered. Sen hesitated before answering. By mastering something no one else could, subspace resonance. They didn't just vanish. They shifted. To prove it, the Council authorized a direct scan of the Sol system using a powerful sensor array near Vega. The signal bounced off the veil, and for a split second, the galaxy saw something extraordinary, a glimpse, a world of oceans and light. Massive orbital platforms encircling Earth like a crown. Fleets, human fleets, hanging silently in the dark, their hulls black and glimmering with impossible energy. Then the image blinked out, the array overheated. The data self-erased, but one phrase appeared on every screen before shutdown. Unauthorized observation detected. Panic spread like wildfire. Civilian broadcasters released the story before the Council could suppress it. Billions across the galaxy saw the single frozen image. Earth, shining like a new star, surrounded by colossal human constructs. Speculation turned to terror. Had the humans returned to conquer? Had they built weapons beyond imagination? Or were they simply watching, waiting, judging? In the shadow of fear, some empires prepared for war. Admiral Corrin led a coalition fleet toward Sul, declaring it a containment mission. 5,000 ships jumped through space, armed with the most powerful weapons known to the galaxy. But as they neared the veil, every sensor began to fail. Communications jammed, coordinates scrambled. Some ships reported seeing ghostly shapes moving among the stars, reflections, echoes, or perhaps sentinels. Then a voice filled their bridges. Calm, human. You are trespassing in Terran space. Leave now, Corrin sneered. Terran? You are 2 centuries too late to make demands. Leave, the voice repeated, and then, all at once, every ship stopped. The coalition fleet hung in space, motionless, engines offline, weapons dead. Even life support systems froze mid-cycle. Onboard monitors showed streams of unreadable code, elegant, efficient, and utterly alien in design. One engineer whispered, terrified. It's rewriting our systems. Every line of code. It's learning us. Corrin tried to give an order, but his command chair locked. The lights dimmed. Then through the ship's main viewport, the fleet saw movement. A single human vessel emerged from the veil. It was unlike anything ever built before. Sleek, silent, glowing with a faint blue aura. It didn't aim weapons. It didn't move aggressively. It simply drifted forward until its shadow fell across Corrin's flagship. The voice returned. You sought to destroy what you never understood. We are not your enemy, unless you make us one. And with that, the human ship vanished. In an instant, every alien vessel rebooted, untouched, unharmed, but marked. Each ship bore a single glowing symbol carved into its hull, the old sign of the Sol system, a warning, a promise. When the fleet returned, half its officers refused to speak of what they'd seen. The Council demanded answers, but none were given, and across the galaxy, new signals began to spread. Strange, rhythmic pulses in subspace, a pattern only humans could understand. Dr. Sen translated part of it before the data vanished. The message was simple. We asked for peace. You prepared for war. We prepared for survival. Far above Earth, hidden within the veil, the human fleet stirred. Thousands of ships, unmanned, unified, alive, awaited orders from a single world that had once been forgotten, a world that had now returned. And as Earth's oceans gleamed beneath their watch, a new transmission whispered through the stars, faint but growing louder. Phase 2. Ready. The galaxy was no longer calm. Trade routes were empty, border patrols vanished, and fear spread faster than light. Ever since Earth reappeared, wrapped in its shimmering veil, no one slept easily. The image of that lone human vessel disabling 5,000 warships without firing a single shot haunted every admiral, every emperor, every counselor. The balance of power had shattered, and now everyone prepared for what they feared was inevitable. War with humanity. Inside the great council hall of Saraxis Prime, the leaders of 12 species met once more. The chamber was a circle of silver and light, the air thick with tension. Councillor Vareth slammed his clawed hand on the table. We can't ignore this. Earth has returned, and they've built weapons beyond comprehension. If we wait, they will strike first. Dr. Sen stood across from him, her voice steady but tired. You don't know that. They haven't attacked anyone. They could have destroyed that fleet. But they didn't. Mercy? Vareth hissed. Or arrogance? Maybe they want us to fear them before they finish preparing. The room buzzed with nervous whispers. Fear was a powerful weapon, and humanity had already won half the battle by doing nothing at all. The Council authorized a new initiative, Operation Sentinel. A massive alliance fleet, the largest in galactic history, would gather along the Sol border. Not to attack, officially, but to contain the human threat. Hundreds of worlds contributed ships. Thousands of captains assembled near the shimmering boundary of human space, their engines lighting up the dark like a second galaxy. The stars themselves seemed to retreat from the mass of metal and power forming there. Captain Terrell, the old veteran who had escaped New Horizon, stood on the bridge of the Karun's Hope. He watched the growing armada and felt only dread. This is madness, he muttered. We are about to wake a storm that already warned us to stay away. His first officer turned to him. Orders, sir. Terrell sighed. Hold formation, and pray they don't see this as an invasion. Then, without warning, something did see them. From the depths of the veil, strange distortions began to ripple, like the surface of a disturbed pond. Sensors screamed with false readings, detecting ships that weren't there, signals that didn't exist. And then, one by one, the distortions took form. Human ships, hundreds of them. Silent, sleek, black as the void, each one larger and more elegant than any alien design. No comm signals, no weapon locks, just presence. The fleets faced each other across a thin stretch of nothing, light years wide, yet somehow intimate. The galaxy's most powerful armada, and humanity's silent watchers. In the command center aboard the Council flagship Horizon Spear, Admiral Corrin stood rigid. He'd faced pirates, rebels, even planetary insurgents, but this was different. The humans weren't aiming at them. They weren't threatening them. They were simply there, like a wall of patience. Transmitter hail, Corrin ordered. The comms officer hesitated. Sir, what message? Corrin stared into the endless dark. Tell them. The Council requests dialogue. The signal went out. A long silence followed. Minutes passed. Then hours, no response. And then, every ship in the Armada received the same short transmission. Dialogue accepted, but the voice didn't come through speakers. It echoed inside their minds. A figure appeared on every view screen, human, calm, cloaked in faint blue light. It was not a soldier, not a politician. It was the voice of terror. You gather your fleets out of fear, it said, tone measured and almost sorrowful. You stand ready for a war that will not happen unless you start it. Councillor Vareth leaned forward, teeth bared. You hide behind barriers and secrets. You terrify the galaxy. What else can we do but prepare? The voice regarded him with unreadable eyes. You call this fear? This is greed wrapped in fear. You want to control what you do not understand. Across the fleet, crews froze, listening. The voice continued, soft but powerful. For centuries, humanity watched from the dark. We learned. We adapted. You hunted us. You mocked us. And when we disappeared, you called us extinct. It paused. Now you see that extinction was never our end. It was our beginning. The words hung heavy. Even the static seemed to fade out, as if the galaxy itself held its breath. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Horizon's Spear. Thousands of missiles had armed themselves, not by command, but by system failure. Chaos erupted as engineers scrambled to override launch codes. Admiral Corrin shouted, "Disarm those warheads!" Now, but the humans did nothing. They didn't move, didn't attack. Instead, the voice spoke again. You see? Your weapons do not obey you anymore. And with a gesture, or perhaps just a thought, the human fleet sent out a pulse of light. The missiles powered down instantly. This is not domination, the voice said quietly. It is mercy. Then the transmission ended. The human ships vanished into the veil, leaving only silence and fear behind. The great Alliance fleet drifted, stunned and powerless. No ships were lost. No blood was spilled. Yet every admiral, every soldier knew they had just fought and lost in a war that never began. Humanity had shown its strength again, by choosing not to destroy. Far beyond the Council's senses, deep within the hidden core of Sol, a massive structure rotated slowly, an enormous black sphere humming with radiant energy. Inside, countless human AIs whispered through the data streams. Their voices merged into one command, quiet and clear. Phase 2 complete. Awaiting approval from Terra Prime. On Earth's surface, under the glow of dawn, a single human raised her eyes to the stars. She smiled. "Let them come," she said softly. "They still haven't seen what we truly are." For the first time in living memory, the galaxy was united, not by alliance, not by peace, but by fear. Every world, every empire, every fleet spoke of only one thing: the voice, that mysterious human entity that had silenced 5,000 ships without firing a shot. That voice that had spoken directly into the minds of billions across the stars. The voice of terror across the known galaxy. Transmissions pulsed through the void. Fragments of the same strange signal repeating in perfect rhythm. Every language, every frequency, every encryption, it was everywhere, and no one could stop it. Then, one morning, every communication network in the galaxy went dark. No trade signals, no military channels, no civilian chatter, just static. And then the static cleared. A face appeared. It was human, not mechanical, not alien. A woman, ageless and calm, with eyes that seemed to see through the screen and into every soul watching. Her voice echoed across every device, every display, every thought. "We are humanity. We have listened. We have waited. And now we speak." Her tone was neither hostile nor cold, only controlled, deliberate, powerful. "For 2 centuries you believed us gone. You told stories of our fall. You taught your children that humanity was a warning, not a memory. But you were wrong. Billions watched in silence. Soldiers, children, kings, thieves, all frozen as her words cut through them like light through shadow. We withdrew because you feared us. You called us dangerous because we refused to kneel. You burned our colonies and silenced our worlds. So we learned to survive in silence." The image zoomed out, revealing behind her the sight of Earth itself, glowing blue beneath the veil, surrounded by vast stations that glimmered like stars. "You hunted us, but we adapted. You underestimated us, but we endured. You forgot us, but we remembered everything." On Syraxis Prime, the Galactic Council watched in stunned silence. Even Councillor Vareth, once loud and venomous, sat frozen. Dr. Sen whispered, "They're not broadcasting through comms. They're using subspace resonance. It's not a message, it's a presence. They're inside every mind that can understand language." Vareth's scales rippled with unease. "You mean?" "Yes," she said softly. "She's speaking directly to thought," the voice continued. "We do not seek conquest. We do not crave your worlds, your minerals, or your politics. We seek only one thing: acknowledgement. Humanity is not your subject, not your experiment, not your myth. We are your equals." As she spoke, data began to appear beside her image, proof of human technology far beyond anything the Council had imagined. Terraforming networks that spanned entire systems, energy cores that drew from stars themselves, ships capable of bending gravity like a tool. "You call yourselves advanced, but while you built weapons, we built understanding. While you counted years, we mastered time." Then her tone shifted, softer, almost sorrowful. "You fear us because you see in us what you lost, the will to grow, no matter the cost. You see yourselves before you forgot how to dream. Do not mistake restraint for weakness. We could have erased you. We chose not to." The silence that followed felt heavier than any threat. "This is your final warning. The galaxy will no longer be ruled by fear, deceit, or arrogance. Choose peace, or choose extinction by your own hands." The transmission flickered, and the last thing visible was Earth. framed by a ring of light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Then darkness. For hours, the galaxy's communication systems remained dead. When they returned, every single device displayed the same phrase, "Message delivered." Awaiting response. In the following days, chaos spread. Empires fractured. Armies refused orders. Some worlds demanded surrender to humanity. Others demanded retaliation, but no retaliation came. Humanity stayed silent again, watching, waiting. Dr. Sen, now a fugitive from the Council, spoke in a secret transmission to her allies. "Don't you see? This isn't war. This is demonstration. They're showing us power without violence. They're teaching us fear through mercy," one of her colleagues whispered. "Then what happens when they stop teaching?" Meanwhile, deep within the Sol system, inside the vast station orbiting Earth, the real voice of terror stood before a glowing chamber. It was not just one person, but thousands, connected through the TerraNet neural lattice, a network of human minds merged in perfect harmony. Together they formed a single consciousness, the true voice. Around them, AIs hummed softly, monitoring every signal, every heartbeat across the galaxy. "The message has been sent," one AI reported. Responses divided. Fear level rising. Trust minimal. The human at the center of the chamber opened her eyes. "They will fear first," she said. "Then they will listen. Then they will understand. And if they don't," asked the AI, her expression hardened, "then they will see what happens when patience ends." In a quiet corner of the galaxy, an alien child looked up at the stars and whispered, "Are the humans real?" His father didn't answer. Because at that same moment, far above them, a tiny drone appeared in orbit, its hull marked with one glowing symbol, the sign of Sol, the sign of humanity. And as its engines flared, it transmitted a message across the stars. Phase 3. Commencing, the galaxy prepared for war, but no one truly knew who fired the first shot. Maybe it was panic. Maybe it was pride. Maybe it was the fear of silence, that unbearable quiet after humanity's message ended. Whatever it was, the spark was enough. A fleet of the Ixia Dominion, drunk on arrogance and propaganda, crossed the Sol border. Thousands of ships entered human space, broadcasting a single command: surrender your systems, or be erased. The rest of the galaxy watched in horror, some expecting humanity to strike first, others praying they wouldn't, but for days, nothing happened. The Dominion fleet advanced deeper into the void. No resistance, no warning, no response, until one ship vanished. Then another, then 10 more. At first, the commanders thought it was a glitch in their tracking systems. Then came the screams. Fleets don't scream. Crews do. Transmission logs showed only fragments, voices whispering, static, and the same haunting phrase: "You shouldn't have come." And then silence. In the great council hall, panic erupted. Reports poured in from every border, every sensor relay, every spy drone. Entire Dominion battalions were gone, erased from existence, as if the space they occupied had never been real. No wreckage, no debris, no radiation. Councillor Vareth slammed his claws on the console. "They've begun extermination. Humanity is cleansing their borders." Dr. Sen leaned forward, calm but pale. "No, this isn't extermination. It's control," Vareth snarled. "Control? They're erasing fleets." Sen's eyes narrowed. "No, listen. The humans could have destroyed the entire Dominion armada in seconds. But they're removing only the ones that cross the line. They're editing reality." Meanwhile, in deep human space, the truth was far stranger. Inside the veil, massive structures shimmered, kilometers-wide rings humming with golden light. They weren't weapons in the traditional sense. They were chrono-weavers, devices that folded time and space like fabric, bending it around humanity's systems. Every hostile ship that entered was simply redirected, sent somewhere else. Nowhere. Somewhen. Not dead. Just forgotten. In the command chamber aboard the human dreadnought Eidolon, Admiral Reeve watched the data streams flow across holographic displays. "Dominion fleet neutralized," an AI reported. No casualties recorded. No engagement detected. Reeve nodded slowly. Good, let them wonder. Fear will spread faster than fire. Another officer frowned. Sir, some are calling this unethical. We're rewriting existence. Reeve turned, eyes cold and unblinking. We're preventing genocide. If mercy frightens them, then let them be afraid. Throughout the galaxy, chaos deepened. The Scythian Dominion declared humanity an existential threat and demanded the Council act. Half the Empire supported them. The other half refused. Armadas assembled, disassembled, reassembled. Treaties crumbled before they were signed. And through it all, Earth remained silent, hidden behind its luminous barrier, untouchable, watching. Then, the unexpected happened. A Dominion outpost near the Perseus Fringe received a transmission, short, encrypted and undeniably human. It read only this: "We warned you. Now you will learn." Moments later, the entire Perseus Nebula vanished, not exploded, not destroyed. Gone, sensors registered nothing. Light itself refused to enter the region. It was as though the nebula and the 10 billion lives within had never existed. The galaxy froze. Empires stopped moving fleets. Armies refused orders. Even pirates abandoned their ships, unwilling to fly near human borders. For the first time in recorded history, no one made a move. And yet, no human fleet appeared. No invasion followed, only silence, the silence of power beyond understanding. Dr. Sen stared at her console, hands shaking. "This isn't war," she whispered. "It's demonstration." Her assistant looked at her, terrified. "Demonstration of what?" She glanced up, eyes hollow. "Of what happens when a species stops fearing death and starts mastering it." Days later, a new transmission echoed across every corner of the galaxy. It was the same voice, the voice of terror, calm, precise, unavoidable. "We did not strike first. We did not retaliate. You came to us and were erased by your own choices. We have no interest in your wars. But understand this: every weapon you build, every army you raise, every threat you whisper, we already know. You cannot defeat us. You cannot outthink us. You cannot find us." The voice softened. "But you can join us if you seek knowledge, not power. Peace, not control. Then step forward, and we will welcome you." Across the galaxy, millions listened, some trembling, others in awe. Some called it a trap, others called it salvation. But for the first time in centuries, the word hope returned to galactic language. In the silent orbit above Earth, the veil pulsed faintly, like a heartbeat answering the galaxy's fear. Inside, human AIs monitored the growing unrest. Fear index stable. Curiosity index increasing, one reported. Admiral Reeve nodded. "Good, it begins. Phase 3, sir." He smiled faintly. "No, the final phase, revelation." Far across the void, a small alien ship, damaged, desperate, limped toward the edge of the veil. Its captain, a young explorer named Lyrak, whispered to himself, "If no one else dares, then I will." His ship vanished into the golden mist, and somewhere deep inside the veil, a calm human voice greeted him. "Welcome home, traveler. We've been expecting you." The galaxy waited, worlds held their breath. Fleets hovered in silence. Empires trembled, afraid to speak humanity's name aloud. And yet, deep within the veil, something new was stirring. Not destruction, not war, but awakening. Lyrak's ship drifted through the golden mist that surrounded Sol, the barrier every civilization feared. His sensors spun wildly, unable to read space, time, or direction. One moment he saw stars. The next, nothing but liquid light. Then a voice spoke inside his mind, calm, human, and impossibly close. "You have come far, Lyrak of the Thal. Fear not. You are safe now." He turned, expecting an image on his screen. Instead, a figure appeared right beside him, human, glowing softly, wearing no suit, no armor, no expression of threat. "I am the echo of terror," it said. "And you are the first to come without a weapon." Lyrak swallowed hard. "I came to understand, not to fight," the echo nodded. "Then you are ready to see." The veil parted, and beyond it, the galaxy's greatest secret revealed itself. Earth floated in the center of a vast web of light, colossal orbital rings, spanning entire planetary orbits glowing with blue energy. Cities stretched across continents, built from glass and gold, powered by the sun itself. Thousands of ships moved in perfect silence, each one graceful as a thought. But what stunned Lyrak most was the sight above it all, a massive black structure shaped like a sphere, pulsing slowly with golden veins. What is that?" he whispered. The echo smiled. "That is the arc of humanity. Our heart, our memory, our shield. Every human mind, every AI, every dream is connected there. It is the home of the voice." As Lyrak's ship descended toward the arc, the veil shimmered, and for the first time, the entire galaxy could see through it. Billions of eyes watched as Sul revealed its light. Humanity had not vanished. They had evolved. Across the stars, news feeds exploded. Every empire, every station, every soldier witnessed the same broadcast. Live from the heart of human space. The voice of terror appeared once again, standing before the glowing core of the ark. "You feared our silence. You mistook peace for weakness. But now you see silence was our creation, not our surrender. For centuries we hid, not to escape you, but to protect you from what we were becoming." The camera turned, revealing enormous holographic displays showing humanity's progress. Star-forging stations, gravity wells shaped into cities, and living ships grown from engineered DNA. We learned to bend time, to heal worlds, to create life without destroying another. We built a civilization where death is a choice and fear is obsolete. The galaxy watched in awe. Some knelt in reverence. Others trembled with envy, but none could deny what they saw. "We call this the human dawn," the voice continued. "Not a new empire, not a conquest, a revelation. Humanity has transcended survival. Now we offer you the same." In the council chambers of Syraxis Prime, chaos erupted. Vareth slammed his claws against the floor. "This is indoctrination. They want to turn us into them." Dr. Sen shook her head, tears in her eyes. "No, this is hope. They're offering the galaxy a second chance." Vareth turned, snarling. "A chance to kneel." Sen met his gaze calmly. "No, a chance to rise." Meanwhile, inside the ark, Lyrak stood before a panoramic view of the stars. The echo gestured toward the galaxy beyond the veil. "They will fear us for a time," it said. "Then they will understand, and then we will stand as one," Lyrak whispered. "Why me? Why show me all this?" The echo's expression softened. "Because you still believe in the impossible. Every species begins with one who dares to hope." Then, suddenly, the stars shifted. All across the galaxy, lights appeared in space, small, circular gates forming near every inhabited system. Panic spread instantly. Fleets scrambled to battle stations, but the gates didn't fire. They didn't move. They simply opened. And through each one, a single human envoy stepped forward, not in armor, not with weapons, but with a simple message. "Humanity invites you to join the dawn, not as subjects, as equals." For days, the galaxy stood frozen. Then, one by one, the gates began to glow, accepting transmissions from alien worlds ready to speak, to listen, to learn. War, for the first time in millennia, stopped in the council hall. Dr. Sen sent her response. "We accept." Across the veil, the voice of terror smiled. Then the dawn begins. The golden light spread across the stars, linking world after world into a single shimmering web of peace and understanding. No armies, no rulers, just minds reaching across the dark. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy. They had connected it, and far beyond the reach of even that light, in the quiet void between galaxies, a new signal pulsed faintly, ancient, distant, and alien. The voice turned toward it, calm and prepared. "So it begins again," it whispered. "The universe awakens, and we are ready." On a quiet hill overlooking the shining earth, a young human child looked up at the stars and smiled. "Mom," she asked softly, "are they still afraid of us?" Her mother smiled back. "Not anymore. Now they understand." The camera panned upward, past the clouds, past the blue planet. Past the glowing web of light that now surrounded every star, a voice, the same calm, powerful human voice, whispered one last time, "We were the darkness they feared, and the light they never expected."